The law of manifestation. You attract what you are. I'll write that a little differently on the board maybe, but I'll just write it so far. So, right? Got it? Okay, good. So that's the law of manifestation written on the board. It's my first time doing this. We're gonna write below it something I just said before, but word it a little differently. That's something I was trying to say it differently in mine. It was probably something along the lines. But what's a different color for this? Probably gonna use the purple. Shouldn't be too bad. Let me experiment with that. Law of manifestation. And that would be, what I just said was, you attract what you are, but what I really want to say is, okay, you got it, I got it. Oh, okay. I was trying to look between want and deserve, but yeah. Basically, with the law of attraction, law of manifestation, things like this nature, you actually do not get what you deserve. You don't even get what you want, but you do get what you are, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. When you think about things that you have manifested in your life, you have to really ask a question. And I'll write this down too. Hopefully the green shell is going to work. Again, my first time doing this, so yeah. How did you manifest your outcome? So, and that's probably hard to see from the 720p lenses camera, but it's we'll make it work. Where as we go. So, how did you manifest your outcome? You always have to ask the question, how did you manifest this? If you ever go through anything in life where you don't know why something is happening to you or for you, or mostly it's most likely going to be for you rather than to you, if not all the time. So that's for that matter. But whenever something happens in your life, try to ask yourself, if you ever remember to, how did you manifest it? You never have to assume that something didn't happen in your life if you think it didn't. Like, you never, it's not so much to discourage questioning things, but out of curiosity, because questioning things is usually good, but you just never try to assume that you didn't actually manifest something, because you manifest things 24/7, whether you think of it as being good or bad, whether you actually actively, intentionally manifested something in particular or not. You should be able to ask how you manifested it, and usually you can come up with an answer either right away if you can, but if you can't, just try to ask a question, and maybe prompting the question will help you figure out later. But that's usually a very open-minded question to ask. So we're gonna write this board. I don't have much to use as an expo marker erase, but let's roll the tissue paper. Also, the audio on this camera might not be the best, so I just work with what I got. Yeah, I did not come prepared. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. I have a hipster YouTuber. I'm not even gonna speed past this. I'm not gonna edit the audio or anything. I'm just gonna, or the lighting. I'm not gonna do any of that color grading, because I don't value quality content for some reason. my philosophies. Which, by the way, if you want to watch my philosophy content, there's a bit of it on YouTube already, including the Deep Stock series and some of the Claymations. They go pretty well into that sometimes. But yeah, so that's good enough for now. Next thing I'm going to write down is gratitude. Now, what do I mean about gratitude? Gratitude, not necessarily having to concede things of this nature with being less contemporary things. Like if you have to think about being grateful for everything but not having to improve your life. The thing that works with gratitude is that you're supposed to be grateful in all your seasons, not just the good things, but even the bad. I know that can sound annoying to hear sometimes because you probably aren't doing that anyways, but hear me out. It's like you have to make sure that even if something isn't going, even if things are going too well, you should still be grateful for what you have. It doesn't mean you're being selfish or being grateful, if that makes sense. So, another thing about gratitude, which, by the way, these things are good for all manifestation stuff. So, like, you can always be a better manifester if you're grateful for what you have. When you can tie your gratitude to a lesson from an outcome, and there's probably a 3 way I can do for this. So, gratitude, grateful for an outcome or a result. So we got gratitude. We'll put the arrows ahead of time. And then something like that. And then that should be too shitty. Yeah, we'll figure this out. Okay, so we got gratitude. We have the reason for an outcome. Or occurrence. Let's do occurrence. And then we're going to do manifest results. Okay, good. So we have gratitude, reason for occurrence, and manifest results. What this basically means is that anything that happens in your life, whether it be trauma or even things that you don't even still understand for some reason, you have to be able to figure out why it happened and then tie that into results in your life that it will lead from, and then look back at that happening and tell yourself that you're actually grateful that it happened and realize it and feel that emotion. If you can do that, many of the things that happen in your life will not stop you from achieving your dreams and goals. Even the things that already help you for the better, if knowing how they manifested well in your favor, or even knowing how to define it in your favor. Knowing the reason isn't so much as important as giving your own reason to it. Being able to assign your own reason, whether you think there's an inherent one or not, is not so much gonna. Well, it's basically what it would be the best for you to already know how to come up with your own means, anyways. But being able to come up with your own reasons is still a good skill. But you can still try to find a way to tell yourself that something happened for a reason. As all things do happen for a reason. You have to be able to tell yourself that whatever happened in your life, whether it be high or poor, it did happen for a reason. And for particular instances, you have to be able to know that those things that happen for a reason can teach you lessons that can help you manifest the results that you want in your life, whether they're connected properly or not. That one may have to be the point. But it can still manifest results in your life from the lessons you learned from what those happened, things taught you. And then, when those manifested results help you feel grateful, as you tie back those experiences with the lessons and the results, your gratitude will help you manifest more things than you realize. So, I'm going to add a bit more to this chart before I end the video. We're going to use green and purple again. Under gratitude, I'm going to put a couple. We're going to put a couple of examples for each one. For gratitude, we're going to put maybe a star or firecracker for something else. something else. And then for occurrence, what we're going to do is a little differently. We're going to do one for occurrence, and then one for manifest results. And maybe 3 for gratitude. Okay. So for gratitude, the first example of gratitude is, oh, this is a big one. Gratitude's first example would be, I'll write the small even though you can't see it. I'll read it out though. Emotional independence. That is huge. If you can be someone who is okay being by themselves, whether they have company or not, you will be truly grateful, in my opinion. You have so much to offer yourself, you have so much to offer others, but you have to love yourself first. If you can't do that, it's not easy for others to love you or even for you to love others. You have to be able to know that even, as I'll give you an example of this example. I see myself as an extrovert, right? So I'm someone who wants to socialize with other people more than they want to be alone. But I sometimes I lie to myself with that, because even with my own solace, there's nothing really wrong with it. I just need to learn to appreciate it, and so can you. You can also appreciate your own solace, even if you're someone who doesn't already know how to do it. It can always be achieved, I promise you. So, with another emotional independence, we can put another example for gratitude, and another example would have to be something that I think I like a lot, which is disconnection, I think. It's a little similar. Disconnection is a skill, not a curse. I say that quite often. Disconnection is a skill, not a curse. If you or anyone else find it impossible to betray, quote unquote, or set boundaries for other people, then I understand where that comes from. I know I've been insecure with setting boundaries myself. I don't know how to tell people to, F off, or there goes my monetization again. That's a meme on this channel now. But, or having to know that you actually wanted to make something work in your life or have more connections, but you had to disconnect other things first. That is all part of life. You have to make sure that what you have in your life serves you, or at least sparks joy in your life. So, the third example we'll give for gratitude. And this should be a big one. I don't even know what it is yet. It should be, let's see. What did Rich Lop say that I actually realized that it was pretty well? What did someone else say that I realized that it was pretty well? It would actually be, something like creative, laziness. I'll actually do, before we do the last one for gratitude, we'll probably write one down for, manifest results. We'll do, for manifest results, we'll do creative laziness. To explain creative laziness, I will tell you that there is a game on Steam known as A Hat in Time. And this was a long-term indie project on Kickstarter where developers for the game actually managed to make a good platformer, a really good one at that. And it took them maybe a little better end of 7 years from throughout the 2010s to develop the whole game. But what they did was, instead of spending an eternity on literally everything to make it quality content, I'm sorry, I'll bend on that as long as I need to, but it's, instead of only making it good or only making it improved or better, they only focused on the things that they knew would matter in the long run. And then the rest they allowed to sacrifice in order to make sure that they knew what they had was best the greater good of it. So A Hat in Time ended up being a game that had really good platforming, really good music, really good elements to the atmosphere, and everything else that they sacrificed, like some graphical issues or glitches and all, some of the problems with the online system, and all that stuff, they were willing to forgo that for the rest of what they cared about. And that's why I mean by creative laziness. You do not have to do everything to mean something. You can still make your life work and manifest the result that you want, whether those things are necessary or not. And you can always choose what that is, which, by the way, that is exactly the reason of recurrence, which I'm going to put next to it. Work on one thing. Work on one thing. I don't want to say at a time, but maybe it would be better if I said something else like that. Or maybe just work on one thing. Work on one thing. Choose one thing that you like to do. You can switch this over time, but like pick one thing that you like to change about yourself, and make sure that it's something that you care about and something that you actually are passionate about doing something about. And don't force yourself to do it if you don't want to do it anymore. Just choose one over time and focus on it if you can. That will help you have a reason for an occurrence. If the reason for the occurrence is that it helped you focus on something, where a negative outcome was maybe that you just were scattered and lost and you didn't know what to do with your life, and maybe you were just thinking that you didn't know if you should focus or be multitasking like me, then yes, focusing would be good in that regard, even if it's so blunt and sincere, but, you know. And for our third and final gratitude example, tonalities implied, we are going to put balance effort and maybe not desire, but let me think about this. Balance effort and balance effort and maybe, well, it would be, before we explain what the next part would be, let me tell you what effort would be. Do not fight the current too much. Choose, not so much, I don't like the phrase so much choose your battles, even though it's still technically true, it has truth to it. I don't like that phrase, choose your battles. I'll rephrase that for someone else. Or you guys might matter. Let's, instead of saying choose your battles wisely, let's say don't fight the river currents too much or you'll go nowhere. And that's not to be too insincere. It's just, there's truth in not, you never have to do too much for anything. Even if people think you have control over things. There's a locus control, and there is knowing when that you never needed, wanted, or even had control, but that is a very good thing. And I'll let you know why in a second, but like, if I do. But there's like 3 months left, so I might have time. But yeah. Balance effort and balance effort and I was gonna say tuition, maybe not. Well, how about we just put a question mark this one, so we can leave open-ended. Balance effort and question mark. Yes, sir. Something that I even understand because I'm not omniscient. Hell, if I were, then I'm omniscient. But yeah. So yeah, there's your law of manifestation video, and 3 solid points and examples for each as to why I do that. So this is not gonna be a thumbnail or anything. I'm just gonna outline everything. There you go. And that should be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, share it on Twitter or some shit, even though Twitter's going down. I can talk a little bit of trash about on this video if I want. Oh, here's a bonus. Here's a bonus. Oh, we're gonna sweat the board for this. Okay. I'm not gonna write anything down. I just want to give it a different vibe all of a sudden, so people pay attention. I'm gonna write with my fingers. Anarchy or Agorism. Let's write Agorism. Agorism. Okay, Agorism. So, the idea of the counter economy is to actually give people independence and self-autonomy and all that good stuff. It's basically where you do not need a political actor or state governance to not so much take over your life, although that is somewhat definitely bigger truth to it, but you don't need external factors to help you live and maintain your life. You really don't need them. I mean, I can expand on that much later, but all you really know for now is that if you can do things on your own, if you can commute with others pretty well for your needs and supply and demand or whatever else, there's economics to that, but economics is pretty hard to explain, even as easy as economics can still be. Applied economics is still very easy, but it's still not easy to explain why it's different than what people would expect. Basically, agorism is the idea that you can have self-rule and self-governance, and you have no rulers or state actors to stand in your way. Thank you very much. There's much more than that, but thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Take care, guys.